Happy Monday, everybody. What's going on, everyone? Lee is here and Bobo is here. I know Bobo is going to be checking out momentarily because the game is going to be on soon.
What game?
That would be the World Series. That's the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Dodgers. They're in LA, tied at 1. Crazy first 2 games, really.
You can't sit on my feet.
Quite exciting. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Delicate is here. Bobo is here. Delicate, let's get you started as a moderator if you're interested still. We gotta figure that out, but thought maybe we could have a little chat about it just to kind of like, because, I want a little controversy, but not too much. I hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had a really great weekend. I don't know why I'm so hoarse today, but I am. I guess I'm having silent reflux.
The weather changed really dramatically here.
Erica's here.
Maybe that's
Troll is here. Yay, Delicate. I already said Delicate, but she said
so.
something.
What'd you say when I was in the mirror earlier? You said, "Ooh, Dale and Angela." Delicate said, "Ooh, Dale and Angela, you guys pissed off the bots."
We
LOL.
poked the hive just before the live a little bit. Yeah. Well, I put out a video that said, don't believe her, and then a picture of Blake Lively. It's our talk that we had where, oh, hang on a second. I think this one's making some noise.
You got noise?
Yeah. We were having a talk. We had our talk and, a couple of lives ago, that live where I kind of went off.
Oh, that one?
I have been just
the one where you went off?
Ringing it out. Our scientist is here. Our scientist is all over that one, I think. Or no, it was Austin.
It doesn't take much to piss off the bots, though. I think they just
yay.
They like search for keywords or something.
Go do your own researches here.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know why her name is eluding me right now, but I did an interview on her channel. You guys should check out her channel. But anyway, so listen, I did a Baldoni video a couple days ago, like Friday or whatever it was. I think it was Friday, and I kind of just I set the title up as a little controversial or whatever. And yeah, man, we just got so many people all upset. It's pretty funny because they're upset over nothing. But I figured we'll try it again. We'll poke the hive, see what happens. Hopefully.
Delicate said he went off on Victoria, and she brought her 5 group chat buddies with her to comment like clowns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Whatever.
The
thing is, the reason why it doesn't bug me is because I know what we're referring to is credible, right? It's all there.
Sure is.
I know that it's a big job, but you know how I did 10 ways that Baldoni debunked Baldoni?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a video worth editing into something usable, because I feel like we could refer to that constantly. Because they just don't realize how much he's lied to them about his evidence.
I don't think they care. When we bring it up, we tell them to. I mean, there are some who do. There are reformers, but and look, I mean, now you have. It's so funny because they have these these influencers, so-called influencers, pro Baldoni influencers, and they're often talking about right now they just trying to make up content. And I don't blame them. It's pretty quiet out there.
Yeah.
But right now they're saying stupid shit like why is Wayfarer quiet? Why are they so suddenly quiet? And I know why they're quiet.
Yeah, sanctions.
No, not sanctions. That's probably forthcoming. That hasn't hit them yet.
No, but I remember that Brian Friedman was on all of those talk shows, and then he stopped as soon as they filed a motion for sanctions.
They got a super badass, kick fucking ass woman, one of the best criminal attorneys in the country, who just got Diddy off of a racketeering fucking charge. So she walked in and she said, "I want everyone in the room to shut the fuck up, and I'm particularly looking at you." And she pointed at Brian Freeman. This is just my guess. My guess is that when that sheriff got to town, everybody got an order. Because she walked in and said, "This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. You're losing this case. Yep. You need to start working on your appeal right now because you're losing this case." It's so funny because like we had, I think it was Victoria showed up and talked about appeals, like how, or somebody was like calling it a big word for me or something. It was like, I've got a big word for you, Dale.
So
it's,
snotty.
it's called appeal. And I was like, of orange?
It's actually not a big word. It's just 2 syllables.
It's a really small word.
Big words.
Not a difficult one to figure out the meaning of either.
But that's a really, really great theory because it's true. There was a before and after.
That she got to town. I said it when she got to town. I was like, watch them shut the fuck up now. And they are shutting the fuck up. It's over. It's wrap. And the reason is because sanctions are probably forthcoming. But any good attorney is going to shut up in this situation. All good attorneys who want to win their case, who actually think they have a case, they're going to shut the fuck up.
What I don't understand is how the the publicity, like social combat plan
Yes.
that they outlined,
Yeah.
you know, in their documents where that's the service they were offering, the publicists and Jed Wallace and Street Relations and everything.
Yeah.
It seems like that is ongoing. Like I definitely am seeing like the same exact kind of swarming.
There's no Brian Freeman.
No.
I'm
asking, why do you think that, like, who's still paying for that? And isn't that damning that they're paying for it?
Well, Kirstie Flaw's never going to stop because it's how she makes her living. You know what I mean? People like Andy Signor, I mean, they'll move on to whatever story is the story.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that show up in the comment section. I don't believe that those.
Well,
I don't believe for a second.
Well, I'm speaking to that because those people are going to keep putting out content. Those people are going to keep earning on the content. Like, look, dude, you know, I put out like a really good quality video of us just jamming about really cool shit, right? And we get like under 10 views.
So you're seeing what I'm seeing.
I put in something about this Baldoni, thing, and there's 1,000. Obviously, 1,000 is not a great deal of views either, but it's that many more. So it's just people are hungry for it, and so they're going to keep talking about it.
Okay, I'm saying I don't believe that they're actually people. I think that there's some people.
Well, of course, there's bots involved. Yeah.
What?
Bots.
Yes.
Yeah, I said bots are involved.
You said that everybody sort of like tightened up, clammed up, but that seems to be ongoing. What do you think about that?
But the bots.
Yes, the bot farms.
Well, I think that the publicists are still at work. They're protected.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Yeah, the publicists are still, but they're at work in this sort of social combat plan. Yeah. They're not at work in the headlines. They're not at work with Brian Freeman going on a tour. Right. They're not coming out with comment after comment after comment. You know, they're buckling down for a trial that they're almost certainly going to lose if the evidence we saw gets in, right?
Yeah.
So if the evidence we're looking at gets in, I mean, these guys are in for a real bumpy ride.
Yeah, so I think it's called Exhibit A is the timeline document. So Justin Baldoni's lawsuit got thrown out. I don't believe that that's even admissible in court anymore because it was dismissed.
No, it's gone.
Right, but the Exhibit A, the timeline document, that remains as an exhibit. So both sides can use that.
It is
evidence
of retaliation. Well, it's going to be interesting because she's certainly going to introduce it. It'll be ruled on, you know.
I'm going to be back in 2 seconds. Okay?
Yeah.
2. Okay?
Absolutely. A scientist, while you're gone, just you can hear me as you go. I do think that it was suspicious, as a scientist, that last week when they swarmed, it was very shortly after we started reading from Lively's motion for spoliation. And not when we were reading from the Joan ones before that. Well, that's interesting. I never even really noticed that. Gottlieb asked for it to be struck, and Lyman said no. Asked for what to be struck specifically? There's nothing. The timeline document? Asked for the timeline document to be struck? Oh, Gottlieb asked for it to be struck, and Lyman said no. That's hilarious. I wonder why Gottlieb... Well, I guess Gottlieb wants it to be struck because he thinks it's bad for his clients.
Gottlieb is Lively's lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's because there's still... His accusations remain in the timeline document. But
no, Gottlieb asked for it to be struck.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I know. This makes a lot of sense. So...
What's up, Austin?
This makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
So a lot of times the plaintiff's attorneys will try and strike something that the defense wants to use, or vice versa. Okay.
Okay.
But but when it's still admitted to court, Like
Right.
when they don't win their motion to strike that thing, they
Okay.
still get to benefit from it. I think that they just, ideally, they didn't want a jury to see this, this made up story, just in case any of them bought it. This made up story about how the whole thing was a big power play or whatever. The story that Justin Baldoni wants to tell.
Right.
But now that it remains, they can absolutely exploit it to their advantage, like we have been. like I only ever refer anymore to Justin Baldoni's timeline document when I'm looking for evidence that supports Blake Lively's case.
No, it's interesting to me that Gottlieb would want it to be struck because...
Yeah, well, like I said, like they can use it, but ideally they would not have it because they have that evidence on their side too.
Right.
But ideally they would not want... They
like you're saying getting in front of the jury, but not in front of the world.
No, they would prefer if the jury was not reading any of Brian Friedman's narrative about how Blake Lively's a bad person. Ideally. Right? That's why they want to have it struck.
Yeah.
They would probably prefer to have any part of their defense struck if they can. That they didn't win it doesn't mean that they can't exploit that the way that we've been exploiting it here.
Right. I mean, I think it's a really great piece of evidence, personally.
I see this happen in the crime shows all the time when they involve courtroom drama.
That's cool. Austin knows go do your own research. We haven't seen. I'm trying to think of there's another one of our friends that comes to our lives quite a bit. Hasn't been around in a while, but used to come around a lot. They're probably just exhausted by all the shit. And then when I did my interview with Go Do Your Own Research, who was here with us tonight, they were there. It was like a live interview, and she's also a small channel, bigger than us, but smaller nonetheless. Mm-hmm. So it was like a very quiet live, like ours are. And but this dude showed up, and I was like, I immediately thought, oh look, like somebody from our live found me.
Oh,
because I'm fucking, a narcissist.
Yeah.
And then
you of all people, yeah, you're a narcissist, yeah.
And then me and that person got talking in another live, and they were like, oh yeah, I've been following her, I love her. And I'm like, oh,
so it wasn't
me at all. I got like one person. I was like, I brought one person to an interview.
I know.
I was like, I felt like proud of it,
That's like when you see one of your teachers, your elementary school teachers, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And you see one of your elementary school teachers at the grocery store, and you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
they exist outside of school.
Well, it was a little bit like that. Yeah, I was like, oh hey, should I tell them that? Like in my stupid mind, should I tell her that he's mine? Meanwhile, like not at all. It was pretty exciting.
Dude, this dog is
and
such
pretty
a
funny.
Stage 5 clinger that first she was laying on my feet and I told her she can't do that. And now she wants to lay underneath and against the tripod with the camera.
She's tripping.
She's just got to be all up in it.
Anyway, that was a good story. Thanks for ruining it, you dumb dirty dog.
Hey, so what is it that you wanted to talk about today?
Oh man,
I have a couple things.
There's some thin stuff. The second story on the we got through the first one in 5 minutes, but it is interesting that Wayfarer is silent. I think that it is, to me, very obvious that they've got, and by the way, they've been adding legal counsel since they brought her on. So she's retooling, and I think she's tooling up for an appeal, because I think they're looking at getting their asses kicked in this upcoming trial or even a summary judgment. So I think they're gearing up for that. That's just my personal opinion. I'm probably wrong. But I did find their silence rather interesting as well, and just refreshing, really. It's been going on for a while. It's been quite refreshing. Because these guys got nothing to go on, and now they're just kind of like, well, they're just coming up with these kinds of stories of like, why is it silent? And they're calling it a strategy. It is a strategy. You're right. It is a fucking strategy.
A strategy for not making it worse.
Yeah, it's a strategy for not losing the case because you're yapping your face off like you're fucking Andy Signor. Instead of just hiring him like you usually do. They say they have 2 suspects.
Oh, the Louvre
for
heist.
the Louvre heist.
Yeah. So they arrested 2 people in Paris.
It was like
You know why I don't
it
think
felt
it's...
like Robin Hood got nabbed. It was immediately depressing as soon as I heard
I
it.
know.
As soon as I heard that, I was just like, I think I slouched and slumped in my chair, and all my air left me. I was just like, you know,
Just like that.
yeah. I wanted them to get away with it. I wanted that. I wanted a new DB Cooper. I wanted it to be $100 million heist. I wanted it to be in broad daylight. I didn't want nobody to get hurt. I mean, it was just a perfect crime.
Yeah.
So I'm
Used
bummed.
to be. If they caught them in France, I don't believe it.
Well, here's the thing that I'm just like, why? They caught one of them at least, but maybe both of them at the airport trying to board a plane for Algiers. Like, why the fuck would you do that in France when you just pulled off the heist of the century? Like, why wouldn't you? You're in Europe, drive to another country and fly out of it.
That's right. That's why I don't believe it.
Go to the Czech Republic, go to fucking Holland, like go somewhere.
I don't think for a second that after an entire week they're still around to be apprehended.
Go to fucking Germany. Like, why would you go to hi, it's me. I'm going to get on the plane over here. I'm going to Algiers, try to escape. Mm-hmm. So it just seems suspect for that reason alone.
Maybe the plan was that they laid low before they tried to, flee, so that they wouldn't be suspected immediately. I don't know. Didn't work, though, for 2 of them. I just hope that they actually caught, some people that are actually involved.
Now I'm torn between...
Instead of somebody who's going to take the fall.
Now I'm torn between whether I want everything to be intact.
The
gems,
crowns and jewels and necklaces?
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it now.
Sure you do.
I do? Help me. You got to help me.
You don't think that the museum is ever going to get it back, do you?
I don't know. No, I don't. Put me away for life, I'd say. Where are the gems?
Yeah, I know.
These gems?
It was really funny because the one time I ever got in trouble with police, it was because a bunch of my friends and I were high and we were hanging out in a public park.
Oh, here we go with the drug stories.
This really great park had this little hilly, really thickly wooded area that we could just climb to the top and look at the city. It was a really nice spot. But anyway, we were all high on various substances, and many of us got arrested because we were in there after dark, and somebody decided to go wander around the parking lot where they could be spotted. Idiots, stupid teenagers, right? But none of us got in trouble because we had consumed it all.
You're just fine, bro.
Yeah, they were they could tell that we were all
tripping.
Yeah.
Checked your pockets and...
Yep. And there wasn't anything.
Yeah.
We're not going to leave any.
Bro.
We're not going to save any for later.
Dude, it's all flowing. It's all flowing.
So that's how I feel about these jewel heist people. Is the very first thing that they did was they got rid of it. You get rid of the evidence and then there's no crime.
I already have a real time. Didn't I send Delicate a book? I did.
I don't recall.
I sent Delicate a book. Didn't I? Yes.
Well, she would know.
Delicate, I sent you a book. She's like, now you have my real name. I was like, so that was your fake name? What's going on?
Delicate was your fake name?
No, not Delicate. I didn't say. I did write her name Delicate though. I did have her name though because I sent it to her.
So that's the news. Do they have any other?
No, it's just not American news. You can tell it's European news. They're like, and 2 suspects were caught, in connection to the Louvre heist. More on that tomorrow. That's it. They were caught boarding a plane to Algiers, and that was it. No names.
There's no information about
no photographs. Nobody with their. I'm nobody had their phones going. Oh, dude, they're pulling a guy off a plane.
Because they're actual professionals instead of what we got, which is people who flood the zone with false narratives
TMZ,
for 3 days until
Andy
we finally
Signor, yours truly
figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
It is kind of lame that you can never trust the official story from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because the very first thing that everybody puts out, even reporters, it's always wrong. The truth always comes out after a couple days. It's a bummer.
Michael Proctor craziness. Well, let's go look up the Michael Proctor craziness. We got Erica. This is what we're all about. You got to get us in on it. Michael Proctor. Let's see what's going on with Michael Proctor.
Hey, did I screw up my camera with this dog sleeping on it? I'm kind of shifted over, right? I'd rather sit here but I'm over here. Do I have to move it?
The camera?
Yeah. It's fine, right?
It's yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess the camera got bumped, I guess, yeah.
Which way would I move it?
Can we get a PA? Can we get a PA in here? What is going on? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a crabby producer, but I need some fucking help around here. Oh, we don't have PAs?
What is it called with bands?
A band?
A roadie?
Roadie.
A roadie to come and fix it?
Podcast roadie?
Yeah. Okay, you were looking up
I'm
Michael
looking
Proctor?
at Michael Proctor. You know who that is, of course.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So let's find out what's going on here. News.
Michael Proctor news.
Highly sensitive data found on ex-trooper. Stop it. I need to allow ads. Hang on a second.
Highly sensitive data found on ex-trooper.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
Hang on. I'm going to tell you. I just got to get rid of these stupid ads.
Like his social security number? What do you mean highly sensitive data? What do you mean found on? Like
you got to work with me here.
About him or on his person?
I'm going to tell you, you got to work with me. I got to get rid of these. It's, you know.
It's more fun to guess.
I got highly sensitive data found on ex-trooper Michael Proctor's phone, prosecutors say. Oh, God, it didn't work.
Prosecutors?
Let me try that.
He's being prosecuted?
I don't know.
Out of the loop with this guy.
God damn it, I'm getting fucking screwed. Why can't I?
Guess we're going to talk about this tomorrow.
Hang on, no, we're not.
We're not?
No.
We're going to wait while you figure this out?
Hang on, there we go. Okay. Highly sensitive data found on ex-trooper Michael Proctor's phone, prosecutors say. One text chain from the device allegedly included images of intimate body parts and the name of a sexual assault victim, among other data. A preview of Michael Proctor's personal cell phone data revealed not only the ex-trooper's crass texts about Karen Reed, but images of intimate body parts and other sensitive information, prosecutors said in a court filing on Friday. The disclosure came just days after Proctor dropped his appeal to win back his job with the Massachusetts State Police, as his lawyer cited newly available but unspecified disclosures. The Norfolk County District Attorney's Office had recently issued a notice regarding data from Proctor's phone that stretched back as far as 2013 and contained material potentially relevant to other cases that he investigated. In a motion Friday to shield contents from the public, prosecutors said that their review of the personal cell phone is ongoing, and they are in the process of turning over text, chats, audio files, and videos spanning many, many years.
So he's like, okay,
holy fuck, this is
you know
so
what, guys?
Juicy. There's more.
Actually, I don't want my old job back. You guys, it's cool. You can keep it.
Oh my God.
Just forget about everything I said.
Oh no. One text chat contains highly sensitive information, including images of intimate body parts of people not participating in the chat, screenshots of Facebook posts by non-participants. Hang on, now they got ads. Non-participants, images of non-participants, full phone numbers and or personal email addresses of text chain participants, and the name of a sexual assault victim. Judge Peter Krupp granted the protective order, allowing defense attorneys to receive a copy of the files from Proctor's phone, but barring them from sharing the materials publicly. The lead investigator into the death of Reed's boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, Proctor shot to infamy over the vulgar and misogynistic texts he sent about her to friends and family and coworkers. Those messages came to light during a now closed federal investigation into the case and included crass remarks. A now closed federal investigation? Oh my God, they're going down. They're going to find the murderer. And it wasn't Karen Reed. And they're going to find out that it was that dude. Who was it? No. Who was the guy? The guy. Who was the guy? Remember the guy? It's that guy.
Higgins.
You heard it here first. Higgins. It's fucking Higgins, man. Dude.
Fucking cops, dude.
Those messages came to light during the now closed federal investigation into the case and included crass remarks about Reed's health and appearance, a joke about searching for nude photos on her phone, and a comment expressing hope that she might unalive herself. Reed has long maintained that she was framed for the murder in a vast law enforcement conspiracy, naming Proctor as one of the linchpins.
And who would doubt it? State
police suspended Proctor amid a lengthy internal affairs investigation. They knew all about it. They suspended him when they found out that they couldn't get away with letting him continue. The reason why he tried to get his job back was because he knew that there was in his heart that there was a chance, because he knew these people were helping him get away with shit in the first fucking place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, let them all go down, please. Let all the bad people go down. Well, that's juicy. Thank you for that.
Oh man, we'll see what happens. I think it's really funny that he was like trying to get his job back because he felt like he'd been wronged, and then they were like, "Oh, don't worry about it. That's cool. Let's just have a little looky loo in your."
Would you? Okay, yeah. Just a couple things first.
And then Proctor was like, "You know what? Forget about it. I actually didn't mean. I didn't mean to bother you guys. Let me just let me just keep all that private."
Thank you guys. I'll check the emails. Thank you, Delicate. Thank you, Austin. You guys are awesome. Okay. So. Thank you for the Proctor interlude. I loved it. Let me go to.
Where are you going? What you doing?
I'm going to my my pot. So you said I got a couple things. What you got?
I got Oh, did you? So Mateo says that George Clooney talked about it.
Talked about what?
I don't know. Was it about how?
What did Clooney talk about? The case?
I don't know.
Real Hollywood memoir?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, the thing that I have here is this. A bunch of people on Twitter were sharing the first couple paragraphs of an article that came out in the. What is this? This is the. Oh crap! I don't know where I got this. Oh yeah, Washington Post. Okay. Karine Jean-Pierre was Joe Biden's press secretary.
Okay.
And she released a memoir. And so they did a book review in the or an op-ed about it. I don't know if this is a review or what, but this is in the Washington Post. Are you with me? Do you care about this? I'm trying to tell you a story.
Yeah, this is interesting. George Clooney calls BS on lurid sex allegations in Virginia Giuffre's memoir.
Okay, so you want to talk about that instead?
No, go ahead. Well, we can talk about it afterward. We've got lots of time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so here it goes. Everybody was sharing the first couple paragraphs on this on Twitter, and they were like, "Hey, you guys want to see a dead body?"
Can you set it up again, just so we have? I got to get framed up here again. Frame me up.
You weren't paying attention.
Can you just frame me up?
You know who Karine Jean-Pierre is?
Yes.
She was Joe Biden's press secretary?
Yes.
Okay,
she wrote a memoir.
She wrote a political memoir.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I used to read a bunch of.
Well, I don't know if the book is ridiculous, but
I used to read political memoirs, and I do not care about them anymore at all.
Yeah.
Because everything's changed, and I've become completely jaded about it.
Because they're all goddamn liars.
Apparently, I'm not the only one, because this writer at the Washington Post wanted to review her book, and it is absolutely scathing. So people were sharing the first two paragraphs from her review, saying like, you guys want to see a dead body, or like call 911. There's been a murder. Do you want to hear what
one of those murdered by words? I love it.
Yeah. You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
Okay, it starts. The title of this is written by Becca Rothfield at Washington Post.
What's up, Becca?
In her new book, Biden's former press secretary lets Democrats have it. Karine Jean-Pierre's memoir offers a critique of Biden and the Democrats that is outdated, impractical, and driven more by personal grievance than policy. Okay, here's how it goes. Imagine parting ways with the Democratic Party, not because of its unwavering support of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, as he violated international law and waged a bloody campaign against civilians in Gaza. Not because of its humiliating failure to mount meaningful opposition to the Trump administration's assault on just about everything of value in the country. Not because it continues to run candidates in their 70s and 80s, one of whom actually opted to die in office at 90 rather than cede her seat to someone younger.
I'm looking at you, California.
Not because of its inability to expand access to health care, nor protect immigrants, nor tax the wealthy, nor really get anything done at all. Not because of its politely non-committal effect and rhetoric of facile uplift, or its members' tendency to address the public as if they're delivering the keynote at a corporate retreat. Not because the Democrats have no political vision, something of a liability for a political party, but rather because of the single sensible, if very belated, thing that they have done in recent memory, which was to usher a doddering Joe Biden out of the 2024 presidential race. These contortions are hard to imagine from anyone but the most devoted apparatchik, which is exactly what Karine Jean-Pierre is. A lifelong Democratic operative who most recently served as President Biden's press secretary, Jean-Pierre is still smarting from the perceived wounds the administration suffered at the hands of its treacherous party. In her new book titled Independent, A Look Inside a Broken White House Outside the Party Lines, she recalls, in quotes, I watched Democratic leadership abandon and in the end betray a man who had led our country through a pandemic and a time of historical political turmoil.
It's like she wasn't there when he said he was going to be a one-term president.
When
like
he
it's like
said
like when he promised that he was going to be a one-term president, and every single fucking Democrat was expecting a primary. When he lied about that, and then by the way, everyone was like, "Okay, Joe's running," because everyone was like, "Okay, Joe's running." And then when he showed up, and his age just showed, like these people are fucking dying on the fucking vine.
Yeah,
you know, it's like enough of this bullshit already. Move on, go fucking hang out with your grandkids. Do you hate your life so much? Is your life so fucking uninteresting that you can't fucking take a fucking, a retirement like everybody else?
Yeah. This is the last part I'll read. Worse, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, some party leaders had the audacity to question whether Vice President Kamala Harris ought to be Biden's preordained successor. Calls for an open primary were, in quotes, an insult to Harris, Jean-Pierre exclaims. Never mind whether the vice president's coronation was an insult to voters who might have preferred to be consulted. Anyway, this continues, and it is scathing the whole time.
Yeah, I love it.
It was actually just really refreshing to read somebody else, like, kind of echo all the same sentiments that me and everybody else I know that has been voting blue forever feel. It's really remarkable that she put out a book. Like, the press secretary is supposed to be the conduit between the administration and the people.
Yeah.
And the tone deafness is just stunning. And it's just a relief to see somebody actually call it out instead of just continue to be like, "Hey, let's read."
It's the most ridiculous fucking thing in the world, and literally, like that you could like base you base anything on. I mean, this person is lacking in any. They don't understand anything that the typical American is going through in this lifetime. They don't know what's going on.
No, and the political scandal.
So out of touch, it's ridiculous.
The political scandal in the last few years is certainly not that we insisted that a very, very old man retire. I mean, he has cancer. By
the way, and then what happened? We didn't get a primary.
No.
Because he said he was only going to step down. He literally leveraged his old age by saying, "Well, I'm not going to step down." He said, "I'll risk Donald Trump beating me, then give you a primary." That's what he said. So it's just like, fuck you. The guy literally like ultimatumed the entire Democratic Party and all of its constituents the minute that he said, "I'll step down, but only if Kamala gets to run." And I don't have anything against Kamala, but she should have run in a primary like everybody else should have after that first term. And instead, this motherfucker tried to belt himself in. And what's he doing right now but dying? What's he doing right now but dying? Right now, he's fighting fucking cancer, and he's probably not going to win this battle. 80 fucking plus year olds who are already suffering from severe memory loss and signs of dementia aren't going to fare well with things like chemotherapy and radiation therapy, which he's now undergoing. But instead of having a president run the country, we would have a guy fighting for his life right now. So the voters were right. The voters are right, not Joe Biden. And this sorry ass whiner. So she thinks the best thing for this country was to have a dying president.
I don't know.
Apparently, God, these people suck. They're just the most detached from reality fucking humans I've ever read about. Well, there are others. There's so many, most of which are running the fucking government or.
I would expect somebody like me to be like misinformed, right? Like I didn't spend my entire life in politics, but that she's so misinformed about what the problems were. And she's at that level. Like there's no excuse for that. That's why it's just laughable.
So, I'm halfway through the Virginia Giuffre. I don't know how to say her goddamn name.
Giuffre, I think.
Giuffre?
Yeah.
I'm halfway through Virginia Giuffre's memoir at the moment. As I said, I was going to read it and review it for this channel. And I am doing that. And fucking George Clooney just fucking busted out a spoiler. Dick. Why do people got to be dicks, man?
So he read it and he said that it's false?
George, he calls BS on Lord's sex allegations. So apparently, and I am not there yet.
On whose sex allegations?
George Clooney was reportedly boiling with anger after reading scandalous claims made against him in Virginia Right, you say it?
Giffrey.
Giffrey's posthumous memoir, according to OK. So I just got spoiled.
That he's in it?
Yeah. And that he did some shit, that he was involved, apparently, according to her, and her very believable memoir thus far. There's absolutely nothing I find incredible about what I'm reading.
Well, what's he going to do about it?
Well, he can talk about dead people because they're dead. You can't get defamed by dead people. I don't know if a publisher can come after him or not. In Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. I am halfway through it. It's a very depressing, difficult to comprehend read. But, I guess, I don't know why I'm reading it. I mean, I know I'm reading it. I know why I'm reading it, but I don't know why anyone reads it. I'm reading it because I said I would for this channel, because it's a big deal and all that stuff, but it really is utterly disturbing and doesn't end well. Does not fucking end well. But anyway, it's a tough read. I'm getting through it. In Nobody's Girl, a memoir surviving abuse, published earlier this month following Virginia's suicide. Did I get penalized? Am I penalized? In April, she alleges Ghislaine Maxwell once claimed she performed a sex act on him, but a Hollywood associate of Clooney's told, okay, her story is BS. Oh, I already read that. That's right. I forgot about that. They insisted he has never met Ghislaine Maxwell in his life, and he's horrified his name has been dragged into this. Yeah, that's right. There's well, she told him, I believe what she's saying, which is that Ghislaine, and I did read this, that's right. Ghislaine said that she went down on George Clooney.
Why?
I also believe George. See, I can believe them both in this situation.
Wait, tell me how you can believe them both.
Because Ghislaine Maxwell told this to Virginia.
Virginia is saying, I heard.
Yes. It came up.
And it could be a lie that she heard.
It's contextually relevant in terms of the book.
I understand.
And she says, like, I don't know if it's true or not.
Right.
But she said it happened.
No, I know. We do that all the time where I'm like, I don't know. Check out this conspiracy theory. This could be bullshit.
Here's what a stupid fucking move this is, dude. I'm reading the book. I read that part and I completely forgot about it because it's hearsay. And she says it's hearsay. Mm-hmm. And one of the most forgettable things for me is hearsay. I'm just like, okay, whatever. Maybe it happened. Maybe it didn't. How interesting, Yeah. And I just continued on so much so that I had completely forgotten that I'd actually already read that. That's how.
Do you see?
And I can tell you about a lot of eventful things in this book in detail if you want me to.
Do you see how it's such bad news for any of these celebrities to ever remark about it? If a scandal,
it's why Leo hasn't said a fucking word about my book.
Because he's smart. So this is the rule in this modern time where the internet will amplify bad news so fast that it gets away from you and you can't control it anymore. If you're ever accused of something scandalous, shut up. Don't say anything. Just it'll blow over. People will forget. But if you speak about it, that's more things that they can amplify. And then every single, now that he's saying that, there's every single one of these tabloid magazines is going to print it because it's slow news right now.
Well, it's also not an underage girl. It's Maxwell.
That's right. He shouldn't have said anything. Idiot.
Yeah, just shut up. Just be like, eye roll. And if somebody says anything, say, I never met the woman in my life. She was obviously lying to the girl as she had done. So after, as she had done with her entire relationship with her or whatever. Because, Maxwell's an absolute fucking monster in the book.
Yeah. Recently, I read an article that sort of summarized a bunch of the cases that we'd heard about during the Me Too movement. Are you with me?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And it just it named a bunch of celebrities that were Me Too'd. Oh. They were accused. And every single one that they named, it was a list of highlighted names, probably 5 lines in a paragraph.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of names. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of people. But the ones that I remembered were the ones who I noticed, right? The ones that I remembered were the ones that had remarked about it, the ones that had tried to defend themselves in the press, the ones that had done something about it, either sued or made a statement or something. There were several that I didn't recall at all. And those were the people who didn't say anything and just let it blow over. And they didn't address it.
It's the easiest thing to do. Bill Clinton has been mum. Yes. He has been mum.
Because he's smart.
Hasn't said a fucking word. Bill Clinton is probably going, when the Epstein files finally get released, he's probably going to be the guy who went to the island more than anybody else. He's probably going to be the biggest offender out of all of them, Donald Trump included. That guy has not said a word, man. That guy is mama. And I believe that just because there was one like thing that showed flight logs or whatever. And it was like ridiculous amount of times that dude went to the island. It was like 70 or something.
The only thing we ever remember about Bill Clinton with the scandal with Monica Lewinsky is his deposition statement, which was filmed and shown and broadcast.
Right.
If he hadn't been made to make that statement, it's possible that the whole thing could have been forgotten.
I mean, it's just crazy.
You don't talk to the press about your scandals.
So there's George Clooney now stepping right in the shit that's always like a trap set for him. Mm-hmm. And really, like, Virginia wrote it, and I don't know, I can't remember the context. It might have been in the idea that like Maxwell was like, you know, braggadocious or something, or, you know, and so she brought it up. She drops a few names in the book. She obviously drops Prince Andrew, Matt Groening.
That's heartbreaking.
So she was in Carmel. And this is backed by flight logs, by the way. So she was in Carmel, Virginia, flown there. Like Epstein was doing some kind of, I don't know. So there was like a billionaire fucking, you know, club. You know, there's a Skull and Bones and shit up there where they all do their club shit.
Yeah, well, right. It's like in the forest in like Northern California or something.
Yeah, I think that's Central where they California. Were at, like Carmel.
Yeah, it's like the, was it like they have like a big owl statue that they worship or some bullshit like that?
So she got flown up.
It's real, dude. There's like
it's very for real. So she was flown there.
Freaks.
She was flown there, and she wasn't a part of that, but she was there for whatever reason. And then Matt Groening asked to get flown back to L.A. on Epstein's plane, and Epstein obliged. She said, "Yeah, man, grab a ride." So it was her, Epstein, and Matt Groening. And Epstein made her massage Groening's feet, and he allowed it. So Matt Groening was cool with this 17-year-old girl massaging his bare feet on Epstein's jet from Carmel to Los Angeles, and she described the feet as pretty disgusting. Just to add to that, sweaty and gross.
You know the thing about that.
So he let her massage sweaty, gross feet. It's just fucked up.
The thing about that that's so interesting to me is, like, obviously she's not alleging a crime, okay? He didn't commit a crime.
No.
But how abnormal do you have to be, like, in your social group?
Yeah.
What sort of things are you typically doing with your social group when somebody like Jeffrey Epstein says, like, hey, I have this young girl who's always traveling with me for some weird reason. Like, maybe Matt doesn't know anything about it, but, like, that's still pretty fucking weird. She's like, how old is she? She's like 18 or whatever.
17.
17 years old.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, man, what if this 17-year-old blonde girl that's always traveling with me, what if she massages your feet? And he's just like, yeah, cool. That's a great idea. Like, what the fuck?
It's disturbing to think about. No, as soon as you start thinking, you're like, oh, she rubbed his feet. They were bare feet. She's a 17-year-old girl that he does not that he doesn't even fucking know.
I know. That's so obviously a situation where he's like, Jeff, I'm good, actually. I don't know why you're...
Right, exactly. Now, in context, first of all, you have Jeffrey Epstein.
Virginia, like, no, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. You have Jeffrey Epstein, which,
Weird.
you know, he already has his reputation. And then on top of that, you know, he's calling this 17-year-old girl a masseuse. She's 17. Like, how many 17-year-old masseuses are there in the world? Even if, and according to her, in her memoir, she wanted to be a masseuse. Okay, well, okay, but she's 17. She's a masseuse. She's not even from California. She's from Florida.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
So she's you know, according to Florida law, she's a minor. So it's messy for guys like him. Bill Gates gets his name dropped. He gets his name dropped because she says Epstein told her that he likes to have things on people, and that he leveraged exposing Bill Gates having an affair on Belinda Gates, and then got something from it. I can't remember what it was, but it was some kind of...
I think that we know this about Epstein now.
With the
just
video.
In general, his whole game was to get blackmail information on everybody. Blackmail photos, blackmail videos, all kinds of details.
Yeah.
Just like Diddy. I think the only reason why he ever filmed his parties was to blackmail people.
Go do your own research. She said that Ghislaine wanted to be called G-Max, and it's true. Not only that, but her favorite coffee was Maxwell House. So here's the thing, right? Like, this is the thing about it. Like,
It's really bad coffee,
it's an
though.
I know. Just think about like
She's
how
that rich.
billionaires and you have like literally next level coffee. Like this
Me,
billionaire,
yes. I
because
drink
she's a
next level
narcissist, would drink Maxwell House, and you're getting hand ground small lots
Thanks to you.
that are badass.
Yeah.
Well, or you do it on your own. Point is that it's like a highly accessible. It's just interesting because like we think about being billionaires, and at times we're living even better than them.
No, being a billionaire does not give you taste.
Doesn't.
I've seen a lot of like, sometimes I'll just like go, I'll go house shopping on Zillow or whatever, fucking Redfin or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I can afford a $3 million mansion. Sure, let's check these out. They are fucking ugly. They're so ugly. All of them look like they echo terribly. Like there's nowhere nice to sit.
I'm about halfway through. I don't know if I'll get finished this week or not. It might be not until like Monday. I'll definitely be finished. Probably, I'll say definitely, but bar any sort of unforeseen circumstances, I think I'll be finished this book by next Monday. But it is. I'm going to tell you all about it, just like I told you about the first half. There's still some chunks I'll leave out and just bring up then, so that it's not all left on the table, because we'll definitely repurpose that. Anyway, Nobody's Girl. Do I recommend it so far? I mean, if you're interested in these kinds of stories, these scandals, and in this case, like I think there's a book out there that I haven't read yet called Educated. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah, that always ends up on everybody's
memoir list.
Top 10 memoirs.
Yeah, it's super badass. Apparently, I haven't read it yet. Part of why I haven't read it is because it's just all her abuse. Like abuse memoirs. It's kind of like a subgenre, I guess. Isn't it, though? All right, what else have I got? I don't know why I want to share this with you, but I do. Today I learned that there was a Canadian hockey player named Duncan McPherson. He disappeared in 1989, and his frozen body was found 14 years later inside a glacier.
What?
Yeah.
He was
when I was a kid,
hockey player?
Yeah. When I was a kid.
So he went skating on a glacier or what?
I guess he went fucking, he did. In the summer of 69, McPherson went to Europe.
In the what?
Oh, 89. In the summer of 89, and he had bought out and released the often injured McPherson. McPherson had intentions of taking a job as a player coach for a semi-pro hockey team in Scotland. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. It's just so weird. What I was going to tell you was that when I was a kid in Winnipeg, in Winnipeg, when I was a kid, we were getting we had fucking 15-foot snowbanks all through the city, throughout the city, corner of streets. And we had a big giant one on the corner of our street. And every year, we'd watch it as it melted down and we got closer and closer to spring. And it was almost like a marker of where we were in the season. Mm. And then one spring, man, that thing was melting. And I walked to school. I walked to get to the bus stop, and it had melted away enough to reveal a dog, a big dog, like a German Shepherd, with its mouth and teeth baring. So I think it got plowed into this snowbank where it froze to death.
Oh my God.
It was so terrifying. I mean,
How old were you?
I don't know, man. I mean, it was definitely probably before junior high.
God. Country kids got to deal with so much, bro.
Grade
You guys
school.
get exposed to so much shit.
Oh my God. I was so terrified and terrorized.
Yeah.
I was traumatized all day at school. All I could think about it. I kind of couldn't wait to get off the bus to see it again, because it was fully animated. It was like a Pompeii,
Mm-hmm.
It was wild.
So you're saying that's what happened to this hockey player that was missing for...
So they got 5. I'm just as soon as I read.
Did you say 14 years?
14 years.
He was missing.
Yeah. According to John Leake, author of Cold, A Long Time, and Alpine Mystery, McPherson's body was found to have suffered significant trauma, including amputation of the arms, hands,
What?
and legs.
Wait a second.
Leake
That's not
believed
normal.
the damage was consistent with rotating machinery. His snowboard also had a uniform pattern of damage and was cut apart, and Leake took this to indicate that it too had gone through a machine. Leake's conclusion was that McPherson had a snowboard accident and injured his leg and was lying in the slope waiting
that makes
for
sense.
rescue. During that very foggy day, a snowcat driver did not see McPherson and ran him over by accident, killing him. Leaks surmised that instead of reporting it, the snowcat driver or his supervisor buried McPherson in the shallow crevice. His body stayed hidden there for 14 years until the glacier melted enough for it to be seen. My God.
That is so interesting. So it was. So
cut
they're
'em
saying that it was
apart.
foul play.
Do you ever see those machines?
A snowcat?
Yeah.
Well, that's what fucked up Jeremy Renner, right?
Yeah.
He has a memoir about it, doesn't he?
He almost died from it. Yeah.
Yes, from blood loss.
Blood loss.
God,
Fuck.
there's got to be a better way. Anyway, that book sounds interesting. It's called Cold a Long Time.
Yeah. It's called
An Alpine Mystery by John Leake.
Cold a Long Time, An Alpine Mystery by John Leake.
Yeah, I just said that.
Do you want me to repeat it one more time just in case?
I just said that, Dale. He's from Saskatoon. You guys have really cool names.
Saskatoon, you think?
Yeah,
that
well,
was-
you know, like all of our the indigenous names that we have, you know, it's either like North American indigenous tribes or like mostly Spanish, you know?
Yeah.
The names of our places. Like, you know, California, you know, Arizona.
Stacy said that the name is Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre.
Giuffre.
Giuffre. Thank you for
What?
spelling it out phonetically for me. I can totally pronounce Giuffre. It looks like Giuffro. Did you have any friends who had a Giuffros?
Me?
Yeah.
No, and we didn't really talk like that when I was growing
They
up.
talked like that.
They talk like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't talk like that. I would never call somebody that or say something like that. They'd be like, "Yo, you like my Giuffro?" I'd be like, "Yeah." I didn't even know it was a thing.
In Southern California, I don't know, in like where I went to high school in Burbank, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think there was a big Jewish population. We had a lot of Hispanic kids. We had a lot of Armenian kids. There's a huge Armenian population in Southern California. But I guess not in our neighborhood. There was
Giuffre.
someplace else, I guess.
I'm so glad that you helped me with that. Giuffre is perfect. Another thing is that Donald Trump, he got an MRI, and they in fact did not find a heart. It's not there.
They keep looking.
They keep looking. They did an MRI, and they're like, "No, I'm sorry, big boy. There's no heart in there." SNAP ends in 4 days for millions of Americans. I learned today that 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP.
That is a lot.
1 in 8, more than 20% of this population requires assistance from its government, which is just earth-shattering when you think about it. Like that's
That is a
we're the
societal
richest
failure.
country on the earth. Like literally, and then this guy's building a gold like foil fucking ballroom.
It's very Marie Antoinette these times.
Yes.
It's very, very much like let them eat cake kind of vibes these days. in
Wow,
America.
it's just absolutely bizarre.
You know what's really funny is that they keep like scaremongering socialism and even democratic socialism, which is like most of Europe functions this way, and they keep using examples that are actually happening under capitalism. Which I think is so funny, where they're like, under socialism is going to be a bunch of people, you know, starving because they lose their SNAP benefits, and they're going to be in soup kitchens and visiting food banks, and you're like, yeah, that's actually happening under this current late stage capitalism system.
I think if I ever
Horrific.
wrote that, they indeed did not find any heart. I think if I'd have wrote that joke in like in the early 90s,
They would have killed.
it got out, I think I'd have got hired on Jay Leno's. I think Jay Leno would be like, "Hey, give that guy a job. He could write a snappy one."
I like the cut of his jib.
I like the cut of his jib.
That kid over there, he's got moxie.
He's got moxie, that kid. He's not afraid of nothing.
So, what are people going to do?
I'm terrified for this country, mortified for this country.
Okay, I know, but that's really vague.
I don't know. There's going to be soup kitchens for days. A lot of people. It's a great question because some sort of I guess activists or whatever people in this philanthropic kind of line, they're saying, that those of us with need to step up big time and start talking about dropping off bags of rice and potatoes and other kinds of food to the food banks because they're going to get overwhelmed. And you, in fact, already showed a lineup that it looked like the iPhones in 06.
Yeah, it was Northern Virginia where somebody went and took a picture and interviewed people in this long line for the they were all in their cars lined up for the food bank, and they was a distribution center, and they he said that it took him 10 minutes to walk the line from front to back.
Yeah, and then they had a video.
They had a person going to each person in the back of the line being like, I'm pretty sure we're going to run out before you get there. Here's a list of these other things. Like, we'll be here next week. And there were some people who were crying about it. But in Northern Virginia, a lot of those people are former government employees.
Federal employees, yeah.
Yeah, federal employees. So.
Yeah, so he booted them to the curb and then took away any support that they might have to survive it.
What's the plan here, though? Because, like Thanksgiving, which is America's big food holiday, is in about a month.
Yeah, there's no SNAP for them.
But he's building a ballroom.
First president in the entire history of this country to take food away from the citizens of the country. He literally took food away from the citizens of this country, and he gave $20 billion to Argentina. And here's the worst part about it. They have the money. They can fulfill the rest of the year SNAP's benefits. They have the money. They have $5 billion in their coffers right now that the federal government, have cut access off to. But it's there. It was there. It was allocated from the previous administration. It's sitting right there. The money is in the bank. But they can't have it now. I
have noticed that the answer from politicians that has mainly been to like blame the other side, regardless of which side they're on, right? They're like, no, it's that side, or it's the other guys, or whatever. I feel like that is going to get real old very fast. I don't know what's going to happen, but like...
It's a frightening time to be an American. It's a frightening time to be in this country if you're not an American. It's just a frightening time. It's a frightening time to be allied with America. Unless, I guess, you're, I don't know, a terrorist. I don't know. It's most frightening, and obviously, the worst is that he's hurting, his own. I mean, he is not a president of the people, and it's so funny because, like, I always thought about this. I was like, well, if you're going to go after Democratic states, they're filled with Republicans, especially well gerrymandered ones. Like, California's population is almost as big as Canada. There's so many conservatives there, it's unbelievable.
They are definitely making a calculation about who suffers, for sure. Like, okay, so this weekend we watched the Alabama.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into reviews now.
What is it called? The Alabama Solution.
The Alabama Solution.
So it was really interesting because part of what that documentary addresses is how they are deliberately taking money from, government services and even education and putting it into the prison industrial complex, right? They're like building more prisons. There's always money to be found for prisons.
It's such a scam too, because the governor goes into Alabama and then she approves these 3 facilities.
Mega prisons.
There are billion-dollar facilities, and all they keep doing is going up and up and up and up in terms of over budget.
Yeah.
And the government is stealing from education and other
That's right.
other resources to pay for it. But when you think about this is just people scamming Alabama. Are they called Alabamans?
Yeah.
Bammers? Just scamming the Alabama.
No. Here's what I'm saying is, like, you can tell about what's happening. Okay. Let me back up. Have you ever heard of the imperial boomerang? It's a concept.
Oh, yeah, I think I have, but
about
remind
the
me.
things that the imperial nations will commit atrocities overseas, right? Far from home, where the people who actually live in the imperial nations don't actually have to be exposed to it or have to deal with it or contend with it. Like, we're very fortunate that we're surrounded by all of this ocean, so it's hard to target us. But we've been doing, like, the United States and its allies have been doing really horrible things to people overseas. Well, the imperial boomerang is a theory that whatever we are visiting upon those other countries over there is eventually going to be visited upon us here. And that is what we're currently seeing.
So the day is nigh.
We're currently seeing lawlessness. We're currently seeing like the violation of rights that we have in this country all over the place. We're seeing increased militarization, which is what we've been doing. Every nation that we go and like build some sort of like...
Let me put some theories out there. Some really quick little theories.
Yeah, but let me just follow this thread real quick. So when the governor of Alabama says, oh, we don't need to be funding education, what we need to do is be funding prisons, what they're doing in the red states, which are the most underserved, that's where they're testing the plan for what they're going to be doing all around nationwide. because it's easy for us to let it slide and like not pay attention. Us generally, just like the U.S., like all of us, it's easy for us to sort of ignore what's going on in these like very impoverished states that have been like routinely ignored. But that's a testing ground. Hey, don't do that anymore. That's not nice.
I have to protect myself.
I know you do.
Please continue.
It's a testing ground. And I think that that's what's going to be their strategy. Like, if you think about what's going to happen when a bunch of people are literally starving and they're demanding that the government do something about it, I think the only answer that the government has, and we've seen this from documentaries like this, where this is what they're doing to poorer places, the only answer the government has is militarized police.
One of the things they talked about...
And imprisonment and labor.
Can we talk about the movie?
Yeah.
One of the things they talked about in the movie constantly was they talked about, how violence is basically the only answer. And so if Donald Trump wants to create any kind of, I think he wants martial law. I think they're going to try to prevent the midterms. I think that the Epstein files are so explosive it's beyond comprehension. I think it's far more than Donald Trump that they're protecting. I think Donald Trump is just one of the guys getting protected. Bill Clinton is another one. Obviously, they tried to protect Prince Andrew, who has now been... They're trying to evict him out of the house now. They're trying to kick him completely to the curb. They're like, dude, enough with you. Because, you wouldn't believe it in the book. You really wouldn't. So it's, I got a theory for you, though. This is a little bit on the side, but just the level of corruption. Americans are tripping about this $20 billion stipend or payment to Argentina, right? Commitment to Argentina. Dude, these guys are so corrupt. It would be so easy for Donald Trump to line up $1 billion for himself in that situation. All he would have to do is tell Argentina, I'm going to get you $20 billion from my bank, and then you guys are going to go and send some Bitcoin over to my boy. Completely untraceable.
Oh yeah, Bitcoin's like money laundering.
You would only see the money move. You would only see the money move via a wallet.
That's so interesting.
It's just completely
so what they're doing
untraceable.
Is they are taking money out of America's...
I believe this 100%.
They're taking money out of America's wallet,
Yep.
out of American government.
Yes.
They're sending it to another country.
Yes.
That country is then going to like Bitcoin it, like launder it, whatever. And
He'll
put it
launder
right
out Trump's cut.
to the oligarchs.
To the oligarchs. It's not even to the oligarchs. It's going to be directly to the Trump family.
Yeah, of course.
That's just going to be a direct... He probably sent a Kushner type representative of the Trump family. But I think that's like...
Makes sense.
I'm just sitting there thinking about this shit.
Yeah,
bro.
they're straight up looting, dude.
That's what I think. I think this is because the reason why I brought this up is because he already said, Donald Trump, that the Department of Justice owes him $230 million or something like that for the trouble that they caused him and the amount of money and loss and all this other stuff that he suffered. He's saying they owe 200. I told you that, what's that senator from Pennsylvania that suffered from a stroke and shouldn't be in government, but is still in government? Fetterman. Mm-hmm. He said of it, it's chump change. We don't need to concentrate on that. $230 million looting of the government while he takes away SNAP benefits from families that are in need. And this guy, and it's chump change.
That guy's fucking brain
to the
damaged.
Pennsylvania senator, $230 million that he's trying to loot from the government in the open.
Yeah, congrats. Like it's so fucking weird. He literally has a job in the legislative body, which is meant to control the purse strings of the government. But he's saying it doesn't matter if we bleed billions of dollars.
Dude, and now people are saying that they're going to shut down the government indefinitely.
Like,
that they're going to keep it shut down indefinitely.
Yeah.
Between now and I guess the midterms. I don't even know what happens, but they're right now the theory is they're not going to open the government at all.
So the libertarians won is what you're saying? They wanted smaller government.
Are they happy about it? I can't imagine that they are, because some of them are fucking farmers, aren't they?
Congrats, you guys. You win. No government.
I think they're looting this. I think they're literally looting this country right now. I think that Jared Kushner made a $55 billion deal with the Saudis and EA Games to buy that company. Jared Kushner made a $55 billion deal with the Saudis. He had no relationship with the Saudis until he was an American politician working on behalf of you, the taxpayer.
No, I know, but why do we have to care about what he does with the Saudis and
I'm saying
game companies?
this is just the continuation of this looting from America. Like it's just the looting of America, right? They're just
so you're saying he...
I'm saying he leveraged
I thought you were talking about literal
American
looting,
politics.
but you're talking about he made a relationship.
No, he didn't. He made trades. He made trades with the U.S. government, with Saudis. They gave up that journalist, dude.
Yeah.
They gave up that fucking journalist. And then other things.
Jamal Khashoggi.
Thank you. Jamal Khashoggi. Correct. They gave that dude up. And they let it slide.
Okay, you're kind of all over the
Not
place.
even
I'm
a
having a hard
single
time
sanction.
following your
No,
thread.
that's not all over the place at all. I'm talking about the looting of America. I'm saying that since this guy got into office, all they've been doing is looting. They've been trading American secrets or American favors, American military, American might, whatever it might be. I mean, I don't know to the extent because we never got a chance to find out, but I think they will one day find out exactly to what extent American taxpayers got looted from this family. But it's going to be major.
You know, it's funny because we spent like an entire year like doing this, like being like, well, we're not going to talk about politics. We're not a political show. But as soon as like tonight, like the dam broke, you're bringing up like 2 years of scandals. It's just like blah, all over the desk.
Our scientist is leaving. I'm sorry if I bummed you out by talking politics.
Yeah, see, this is why we don't.
Well, I mean, you know, fuck, it's kind of all around us. It's impossible to avoid. It is a little impossible to avoid. I think we do a pretty good job at avoiding it, but it's a little impossible to avoid. And by the way, I'm not sure that we should entirely avoid it anyway. I mean, we're at a very unprecedented moment in our history, and I think talking about it to some extent is a bit of our responsibility, really, especially when you're at this level, when we're talking about, you know, starving Americans. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you, I mean, I guess it's the American way to just walk past that. Is it? Is it the American way?
No, it
to
never
just,
has been.
Yeah, it sure hasn't. You know what? You know, the truth about Americans is that they're not as generous to each other as they are to the rest of the world. But to the rest of the world, they're the most generous people in all the world. Did you know that?
No, what are you talking about? Anytime that a community has a disaster, like a tornado or a hurricane or whatever, there's a lot of people band together and support each other and help rebuild. It's like, this is definitely the American way.
What I'm saying is that the American way is they're literally known worldwide as being the most generous people to those in need from the wallet around the world. Like, I know this is a reputation, like America has the shittiest reputation in most countries in the world these days. But one reputation that I know to be true is that the world over believes that Americans are in general the most generous people on earth.
Okay.
So, you know, from country to country, but I don't know. I have a hard time believing that they're as generous to them, to each other. And, you know, maybe in those kinds of moments, maybe when there's a tornado or hurricane or something like this, but, you know, we literally, you know, we have, we're about to starve 20% of the country.
I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for people who are finding themselves in a really tough spot without these benefits when they live in nice neighborhoods. Like, for instance, I saw this lady today she made a video, and she was talking about how she has a nice house and she has a family, and she used to look down on people that would have to take government benefits, right? Like, she would look down on people who needed food assistance.
Yeah.
But then she had a series of medical disasters in her family. And she had sick children that needed continuing care. She had a nasty divorce. She was living on her own in a rental apartment, and she had spent 22 years as a housewife with her husband, and she didn't have a high paying job at the end of that, you know. So she was like, yeah, I used to look down on these people when I had everything, but then everything changed, and now I am one of those people that's on benefits. And I just feel like it's a lot easier for people who have been living on the edge of poverty and have made community with others who are also impoverished. It's easier for these people to help each other and build community. But there's a lot of America where people are kind of well off and they have really isolated themselves. And a lot of people have this stigma where they judge people who are poor and they don't want to seem as if they are needy. So they won't ask for help. It's difficult for them. It's more challenging for them. So I think that a lot of people are going to suffer needlessly because they have this pride about it, you know? Food insecurity is hard to admit if you're somebody who really values wealth and comfort and stability. But if you've never grown up having those things, then it's a lot easier to ask for help because you probably live in a situation where people are used to helping each other. Do you know?
I do.
Like Americans are really isolated, and the culture has suffered for that. And I guess if you're like not involved in a church or something, then it's even harder. I don't know.
It's true. I don't really know. I don't really have a good reach around these parts.
Yeah, like if we were really struggling, we've got no network, you know? There's no network here for us.
No.
Like, I don't know what we would do.
Yeah, and it obviously could happen to us. So, do you want to move on to our reviews?
Sure.
We watched this Alabama
the Alabama
documentary, The Alabama Solution. And so, do you want to start? I'm trying to load my game up, and I'm having a really fucking hard time for some reason.
Well, the Alabama Solution is a documentary about the Alabama prison system. A bunch of reporters had obtained footage and communications from people on the inside, where cell phones are restricted, banned, even contraband, right? But they obtain them anyway because there's a black market for things like cell phones and other illicit substances and stuff. And it was just a really amazing, like insider's view of what the prison system was like. I thought it was really interesting how they had even, the documentary had managed to capture footage of them organizing and carrying out a protest within the prison. I thought that was really informative.
The footage is incredibly revealing and scary. It's just the most frightening footage ever, really, because
really inhumane treatment.
It shows that the prisons, like there's one segment where this guy is just showing the rat problem in his cell, and his toilet is literally infested with rats. He had a jar of some kind of whatever in it. He had something like 22 rats that he got while he was sleeping, and then he's showing with his camera his entire cell is just filled with rats. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know what the fuck they're doing there. There's so many rats. He must have had 30, 40, 50 rats. He probably had 12 rats in his toilet, drinking the water and swimming in it and whatnot. Imagine that. So it's another super disturbing documentary, quite frankly, and it'll definitely get under your skin. It's frightening, actually. It's an incredible feat of filmmaking. And the reason is because this documentary uses the worst footage you can imagine. It's inmate photographed, clandestine, right? Like they're just totally like, hiding it. So they're stashing it in corners where it's obscured by bleachers or towels or some kind of something, just so you can get these like glimpses, into what's going on in these fucking prisons. And it is truly horrific. It is really disturbing. I think it's a great documentary personally. And I thought it was really, really, I'm really glad it came recommended. I'm glad we took the time to watch it. I certainly did feel angry about it. It's so frustrating because it's such a, like, I'll give you a good example. So basically the focus of the documentary is on modern slavery in America, and that they have used in Alabama these prison systems to once again enslave people to do forced labor for corporations and government. Mm-hmm. And it's unequivocally true. I mean, these people are making $2+ an hour, and they're actually a part of a day, $2 per day. And they're a part of some of the vital services that get provided to Alabamans, to the state of Alabama, is provided by these inmates. And so you're like, well, a lot of people are like, well, you did. They played all these radio segments of like radio personalities, just the most decrepit human beings.
Yeah, like right-wing radio.
You did the crime. You're going to have to do the time. I'm sorry. Look down. You see shackles around them ankles? You ain't got a choice, buddy. So they're just like talking about these people. Well, here's a good example of how fucking egregious this really is. One black male, probably like mid-20s, was arrested and charged with breaking and entering in an unoccupied building. There were no human beings in the building, and the trial record does not show that he stole anything. There's actually nothing missing, but he got caught. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison for that. Diddy is getting out in 28.
This is how it goes for a lot of people in the prison system, is you just get snagged. Like just in the last like 10 or 20 years, they've started to increase the sentences for charges where people were like peripheral to crimes.
Yeah.
Like say that you were out with your friends, right? And a bunch of you guys are in the car and you all decide to go someplace. And then when you head over to that place, one of your friends has brought a weapon and hurt somebody. Okay.
Yes.
Now, all of you guys, because you're all in the car, are all getting charged with that crime of hurting that person, because you are now considered accomplices.
Correct.
Even if you had absolutely nothing to do and had no knowledge that this person was...
There was nothing premeditated. You had no idea what was going to happen.
Caught in a bad situation. Well, now you and all of
where
your
you
friends,
had no control.
Yep.
A bad situation that you had no control to get out of. Because it's one thing to be like walking in a store and then your buddy pulls out, a fucking pew-pew or whatever. You turn your ass around and walk out. Be
even
like,
then.
I'm not doing none of this, But even then, at least but you're right.
But there's people who have been, they've been charged for the crime for just being in the same car as the guy who does the crime.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just so insane. And it's very, very clear that what these judges and this justice system is doing is just snagging people and filling the prisons with these bodies.
It gets worse. So not only doing that, but this guy who they snagged for 15 years, who they nailed for 15 years for breaking into an unoccupied building and not even stealing anything, 15 years in prison for that. That sounds like Saudi Arabia to me, right?
It sounds like America.
Well, it is America. It is America. No. That's not the America I've been sold. That's the America it is. The America I've been sold. That's the Saudi Arabia I get sold. That you can go to jail for 15 years for creating. I just think it's committing.
Like we need to stop making comparisons. About,
but let me get. Let's not get sidetracked on this.
Using American examples.
Forget about it. Forget about that. Because this guy gets 15 fucking years. He can't get out on parole, bro. This guy was living straight in prison. He was just like, man, I got to get out, right? Because he's.
No spoilers.
Their parole rate in Alabama is just like it's you can't even believe it. It's something like 30% of prisoners eligible parole actually get paroled.
Yeah, because they're workers. Because they're valuable workers.
So then this guy gets caught.
This is it is the canary in the coal mine for what is going to happen to. Did you notice just in the last few years they've started to criminalize homelessness? So they're cutting benefits for a lot of people. Right? People are going to be struggling. They're going to decide whether to buy food or pay their bills. Okay.
Yes.
That's going to result in homelessness.
Yes.
Now homelessness is criminalized, which is going to put homeless people in prison.
Yes.
Okay. Where they're never going to get paroled. Right? They're going to have these like insane sentences that don't even make any sense, where they never get released, and they're just going to be used for labor. Like, this is what documentaries like this are showing us.
What you will
this is
find
already in action.
What you'll find when you watch this movie, we're gonna get to our reviews because this review is crazy because it gets you. It's easy to switch the rails and then we're just down the whole.
Well, we're less talking about a review and more talking about a situation.
I'm trying to get to the review portion of this. So this thing should be watched, in my opinion. This documentary, Alabama. What's it called?
The Alabama Solution.
The Alabama Solution on what stream service did we see? HBO. I think it's a must see. Really.
Is it called HBO? Is this still called?
It is HBO. HBO will work.
I do want to say one more thing about it. Can I?
Yes.
When these guys started to organize a protest, it was remarkable, and this documentary should be watched just to get a glimpse of what organizing is like. And these people, there were definitely like leaders, and then like under them there were going to be like these like sub leaders. Okay. But the people that were sort of like anointed as leaders were the most knowledgeable ones about the past civil rights movements and revolutionaries in our recent history and the teachings from them. And I think it's just really important that everybody recognize that when things get really, really dire, it's super important to identify who in your group or your community is the most knowledgeable about these sorts of things and like how in history this sort of stuff worked. And the way that the prison dealt with these guys was to separate them from the rest of everybody. So they identified who's the most knowledgeable, who is the best speaker, and who's the best organizer, and then they pulled them out and isolated them. But that can't work if more people are educated. Like if if no one leader can be identified because everybody knows everything and everybody is a good organizer, then that's how a movement would succeed. If you can't isolate the leader because everybody has the same knowledge, I'm just saying, like, everybody needs to learn real quick about all the things that these sorts of people know, right? Like read these books, study what past revolutionaries have done.
In 1957,
I should put together a book list.
In 1957, Alan Lomax released a record called Negro Prison Songs. We actually own this record. Mm-hmm. On the back of this record, we have a little love story around that, but on the back of this record, he goes into Alan Lomax. He writes this. It's just this epic. I could read it for you right now, but
what year is it?
It's 1957.
1957.
Yeah, it's 1957.
What does he say?
And he says, first of all, he opens it up with some of the lyrics that are on this record. So, Negro Prison Songs is this amazing record where Alan Lomax went into the field in Mississippi and he recorded prisoners working in the fields singing. And it's making the hairs on my
the chain
goose.
gang
I'm getting
sounds.
goose flesh, as they say, goosebumps everywhere. It is a remarkable record, and I bought it for Angela, as a matter of fact, because Angela introduced me to Alan Lomax, and then when I actually played it, it just hit me so hard of what it really was and what it really means. Alan Lomax was just such a blessing to this country. Anyway, it starts with some of the lyrics. It says, I ain't got long in the murderer's home, Mississippi prison song. These recordings were made in 1947 in the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman. The singers were all Negro prisoners who, according to the practice of Mississippi, were serving out their time by working on a huge state cotton plantation in the fertile Yazoo Delta. Only a few strands of wire separated the prison from the adjoining plantation. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
A few strands of wire. These prisons were literally attached to these plantations.
Yep.
Only the sight of an occasional armed guard or a barred window in one of the framed dormitories made one realize that this was a prison. The land produced the same crop. There was the same work for the work for the Negroes to do on both sides of the fence, and there was no Delta Negro who was not aware of how easy it was for him to find himself on the wrong side of those few strands of barbed wire, as one of the prison work songs ironically remarked, it ain't but the one thing I done wrong. I stayed in Mississippi just a day too long. And it's so interesting because I'm not going to read this whole thing. There are 7 amazing, eye-opening paragraphs about this Jim Crow moment in history.
Yeah, so that was 1948.
1948.
And literally nothing has changed.
And we are in 2025.
Oh my God.
And they are building $1 billion penitentiaries for forced labor. Yeah. And then did you hear about the Utah facility? Mm-mm. So they're putting a homeless shelter up in Utah that's gonna hold 13,000 individuals.
I did hear about.
And they're gonna force these people. It's called Shelter for Work or Work for Shelter or whatever. And basically, they're going to round them up. Some of it is a portion of it is going to be for the homeless people that they round up off the streets. They're going to imprison them in these work camps. And then there's also a section of it that's supposed to be voluntary. But if you want shelter, you have to go work in their forced labor situation to get it. And this is, of course, a Trump plan that the Utah governor is all aboard. And they're building a 13,000 person facility, tent, whatever it is. I say 13,000, maybe it's 1,300. This is the way of the
future. Getting trapped in a legal system that forces you to do labor.
Just America's not going to let it go, bro.
You know what's fucked up about it,
Slavery's never going to leave this country.
Listen, it's constitutional. I think that's something that's just been waiting to blow back on us, is that we never fixed that part of the Constitution.
So this has been going on forever. I think it's super important to watch this movie because this movie to me is what needs to spread more through. Delicate says there's a thing called 13 Talks. No, 13. A documentary called 13 that talks about this topic as well. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that. Just the more we get educated about it, it'd be good. I'm giving it 4 tiny pineapples. It's difficult to watch. I think it's important to watch. I also found it to be well made. if not exceptionally well made, particular to the problems. I mean, this must have been such a, I can't believe what they did with the sound. Like they had to work so hard just to get to bad sound. It is amazing.
Yeah, the sound is rough.
It's rough, and it would have been, and you can't imagine how bad it actually was for them to be able to level it out the way they did and to give us a coherent movie out of what is really, I mean, whatever you do, don't hire prisoner guards to shoot your movie. Don't, or prisoners, I'm sorry, to shoot your movie.
To film your movie?
Especially scared ones.
Yeah, I will give it 3.
You're giving it 3?
Well, yeah, because, you know, like you said, it is, they worked with what they could, but it is unpleasant to listen to bad sound the whole time in a documentary. I mean, like, you know, obviously I understand why. It's not like I'm giving the filmmakers themselves a demerit, but it's a 3 experience for me because of it.
Well, we're on the topic of crime, watching crime shows. Another crime show that we kind of started watching out of the blue because we had followed much of the trial and the story itself, which is the Murdaugh family.
Yes, the Murdaugh murders.
The Murdaugh murders.
That is such a
is that what it's called?
Story.
Is it called the Murdaugh murders?
Yeah,
the
well,
show?
his last name.
What's the show called? Do you remember?
I think it's called the Murdaugh Murders.
I want to just.
It's on Hulu. It's with Patricia Arquette, is in it. The cast is amazing. It's really well produced. I usually don't like watching the dramatizations of true crime. I prefer the documentaries because I think the dramatizations are usually really, really poorly done, you know? But in this one, it's like incredible. They did such a great job. And it's based on the best source for the Mandy Matney, I think her name was. She had a podcast that we started listening to. And apparently she was... I found out about her because she was going around correcting everybody's mispronunciation of the name because she's actually from there and she'd been following the case from the very beginning. And her podcast was very authoritative, and this show is based on her podcast.
So I absolutely love this. I can't believe how good it is. I really can't. Like, let me just say that the writing is so excellent and the directing is so excellent. It's called well, I don't know, man. What show? Which
Hulu.
It's called the Murdaugh Murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Murdaugh Murders. It's called Murdaugh. They're called Murdochs because
it's just a pronunciation.
It's just
yeah, like his name's Alex, Murders, but he goes by Alec.
Death in the Family, Fact versus Fiction, the true crime drama starring Patricia Arquette. And let me just quickly scoot over to the cast here because one of the actors playing one of the kids is, to me, looking for an Emmy, man.
Oh, yeah?
For real.
That's really good.
He's the one that plays the
younger one?
Johnny. His name is Johnny Berchtold. Dude, his name is Berchtold. Berchtold. What is that, like talking trees? What are we doing here? Johnny Berchtold. And he is, let me just pull up something about him if I could. I just want to figure out, I can't remember Paul Murdaugh. He's playing Paul. Paul, by the way, just in case, if you follow the Murdaugh trials or didn't, Paul Murdaugh was this kid who was perceived to be in the public, in the press, as were all the Murdaughs, entitled and shitty human being who was also, good at drinking, or maybe not so good at drinking. He went out drinking with his pals. They were in a boat. He was driving the boat. He ended up crashing the boat into an abutment that ended the life of one of their friends, a young woman. And so his whole life, and this is the sort of beginning of the undoing of the Murdaugh family. And this kid is fucking strumming the guitar, man. This kid is on fire with this role. He got into this character. He made a character out of this Paul kid. Paul, to me, was this enigma in a lot of ways that I had really filled in all of my, sort of disdain. That I had filled in with all my disdain for the kinds of things that he represented.
When you heard the story initially?
Yeah, when I heard the story initially, I just filled in all the blanks of the enigma called Paul Murdaugh and called him everything under the book, right? Rich, entitled, disgusting. And then what we see in this portrayal is a kid raised by a really fucked up human being, a couple of them actually, super fucked up human beings. Like the Murdaugh family, man, is just like out there. And so it created an empathy. He created an empathy for this character that I would never have expected to have, and that I find entirely riveting. And of course, I know the ending, as do most who know the Murdoch family tragedy.
It's such a super interesting,
but it's beautifully done.
It's a super interesting story. Like, I didn't know anything about South Carolina politics, but apparently they have this, like, there's this basically this dynasty, right? Where it's like the Murdoch family has been district attorneys in this county, basically lording over this county for generations. Every single son of the Murdoch family becomes a district attorney, like lead prosecutor, like whatever. They run the town.
Yeah.
So it only takes this one generation that of these, like,
Paul's grandfather, for example, was honored by the governor. Like,
right.
Spoiler, early in the show,
It's
he's like being honored by the governor.
This youngest generation turns out to be these, like, total fuck ups, and they're doing crimes all over the place, and the family can't cope with it. And the father, who's also, you know, this big time lawyer, he becomes a drug user. And all these crimes start happening, and they can't cover it up anymore. And so he ends up committing heinous crimes to try and cover it up, and it just completely unravels, and everybody is just stunned because this was this big untouchable family. But it just, like, there was just 2 generations back to back that ended up being total fuck ups, and then, like, so now they're all done, and they're all I don't want to spoil it, but
Cosmic Racing, I prefer to watch the dramatizations before looking into the real thing. Otherwise, I'm miserable about the inaccuracies. I didn't make it far into Ed Gein.
Well, yeah, this series is credible because
exactly.
Because if I hadn't listened to that podcast, I wouldn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
and they do it really, really well.
That's too bad you're not getting into Ed Gein, because I think, like I said, Charlie Hunnam knocks it out of the park. But
no,
hey, man,
you can't though. That series just sucked.
I don't agree with you.
It was fake though. It was a fake story. They should have just come up with a different guy's name and made a series about a murderer who does similar things. It wasn't a fake story.
There was some fan fiction in it, but it wasn't about what he did.
No, majority fan fiction. Majority fiction. Yep.
Okay, well, I guess I don't know enough about the guy to argue with you about it, but I don't think that's true. I don't.
You just did.
Okay. Moving on.
Delicate said, did you see how Trump thought he took an IQ test and he told everybody about it? But
no.
Then when he was describing it, it was very clear it was a cognitive test that neurologists give to test if you have dementia.
This is when? Today?
Yeah, it was this week.
Oh, I want to see that. I've never loathed.
You know how he, like, brags how, like, last time it was like man, person, camera, TV or whatever?
Yeah, no.
Well, he did it again and he described it for everybody.
He's very proud of his cognitive abilities. Go lay down. Go lay down.
I think that whenever he does something like that, whenever he talks about how proud he is about how he passed the test, it's because I think he is betraying his anxiety about it. I think anybody who is struggling like he clearly struggles, that they know something's wrong. So I think the whole time he's, like, projecting this air of confidence by bragging about how he passed the test, but he's only talking about it because it bothers him.
Well, anytime the guy makes a fool out of himself, I'm entertained. Murdoch family, by the way, I should say it's not complete. They only have the first 4 of 6 episodes posted. 2 more are coming. We were distraught
because we couldn't binge watch.
We were distraught when we couldn't. We were like,
There's
"What do you mean?"
Another one now.
Huh?
There's probably another one now.
So there's 2 more to drop. You might want to wait for them all. But if you don't, and you're like me, you can't wait.
We have another episode of The Chair Company that dropped yesterday.
Very exciting to watch it. We're going to watch that maybe even tonight. So I'm not going to give my Tiny Pineapple verdict on the Murdochs just yet, but know that I think it's an excellent series and that I expect it to fare pretty well here as it comes to the end, because it's like really building up into the crescendo of the story. And it's really amazing because I know the ending. I've watched, I've watched the 23 documentary that came out in 23 called The Murdoch Murders or something. Also, that was badass. We watched it together, obviously. So,
Kindly DiCaprio said, this is off topic. Can I read you part of the chat?
Okay.
Kindly DiCaprio said, is there such a political ideology
Yeah.
where you just leave people alone and maybe only interfere with them if they are poor and need help? What would that be called? What's the name for that?
I don't think that existed.
I don't think that's
where any white
ideology.
people are, at least. You know what I mean? Like colonizers, wherever colonies exist, you're not going to find that. You might find that within indigenous peoples, like the indigenous people of North America and of Mexico and everywhere else, frankly, they probably all had something like that as a structure. This Marxist idea of everyone taking care of everyone. But
yeah, like I don't know what counts as a political ideology, right? Because like the question is there such a political ideology where you just leave people alone? And I'm like, I think that's like doesn't qualify. Just that, like leaving people alone, I think doesn't qualify as a political ideology. Is like some sort of structure of government, right? Where it's structured in a certain way, where you use your resources, whether they're like people resources or, other valuables in order to do this with it or that with it. I think leaving people alone is not, I think that's like, is that anarchism?
Might be.
Maybe.
We watched a couple of horror films. We did not get to Eddington because Cosmic Urgency totally shamed us. And I think he was right too.
Yeah, I think so too.
We were about to try.
We were gonna watch a regular movie in our October spooky season.
Yeah, and so
that
we didn't
wouldn't
do
have
that.
worked.
So I think we watched 2 horror films, did we not?
Yes.
We did. And let's talk about the first one, not the one that I liked. You didn't like either of them, I don't think.
Me?
Did you? Oh,
No.
wait, no, we did. We watched Weapons.
Yeah. Weapons is on streaming.
Which is streaming now. Mm-hmm. And I really, really liked it.
Me too.
It's so funny because I think it was Martin Scorsese. I don't know who it was. I don't want to, I guess I shouldn't put a name on it. Or maybe it was Ridley Scott. Oh, it was Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott called Weapons, like he called it trash. And I'm like, well, fuck, that was a good movie, dude. Like solid movie. Top to bottom, it was really quite original.
Listen, if you have a movie where some weird shit goes down and then the witchcraft of it gets explained and like the process of the witch actually doing the thing gets explained, I'm in.
Super big win.
I'm super sold.
It was a great
Anytime
movie.
that some spooky shit happens, like some sort of paranormal anything or some sort of unexplained anything, and then the filmmaker can explain it in a way that I've never seen before and it makes sense.
So a brief setup for Weapons is that it's a story about how 17 children from one single classroom go missing in the middle of the night and nobody knows where they end up. And so the following morning, 17 children but one. So it's a class of 18 and all but one child had disappeared in the middle of the night, and only 2 were caught on camera by Ring cameras that showed them walking away as if they were flying,
running off
as if they were kind of flying off, like in a Peter Pan kind of way, off into the forest, but nobody knows, or into the distance, but nobody knowing where they went. And so that's the mystery that begins.
You can't tell the whole story.
And that's the mystery that begins and unfolds as the story goes on. It's a great little premise that had me hooked right from the beginning. And it kept me hooked throughout the entire movie. And I love the way that it came around, wrapped all up. Great ride, great acting. I thought the directing was really fabulous, but I really thought the writing was top notch. Like for me, I felt like it was some of the best horror writing. And it wasn't like, sitting there afraid of anything, but it was like that kind of horror or just creep. It was just like the movie was creepy, really from beginning to end. And I truly thought it was a good ride for everyone.
It also does this really fun thing where like every act is told from a different character's perspective. And they'll start with a title card that shows the character's name, like who we're seeing this from, and the chronology of those perspectives overlaps. But it tells a story from beginning to end, like it's chronological. But there's like slight overlap, and then each character is telling a different part of the story or their perspective of the same situation. And I just really, really like, anytime I've ever seen that in books, like Game of Thrones does that. Anytime I've ever seen that in books or movies, I've always really appreciated that. There were some people that were critical of that in the reviews that I read, where they were saying that was a choice.
They had a hard time following because
it didn't really get paid off completely. Like they didn't totally lean into that. But I didn't see a problem with it at all.
I didn't either.
Really great.
I can kind of relate to that, because if you're really unfamiliar with that structure, or if you're just somebody who understands, who tries to follow something more linearly, whatever.
I love like interlocking storylines is always something that's delightful.
Yeah, it's great because it's a great way to kind of puzzle out the movie, and that's why I really like that format as well, is because you can really create all kinds of mysteries, and you can like cliffhang off one end and pick it off on the other, and also you can shapeshift the story itself by just switching perspectives. So it's badass in every possible way if it's done right, and I feel like the writers really delivered on this one. And so Cosmic Urgency is saying that he hasn't seen weapons because he felt like it's been totally spoiled, which I don't know because fortunately, I never got spoiled. I never knew anything about it. Did you?
I only saw what was in the trailer.
I didn't even see that. So you had that on me too. So I went in as blind as you could. I didn't even know what weapons was or, what was being weaponized or whatever it was. Loved it. Thought it was great. I'm going to give it like 4.5 tiny pineapples. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Really?
It's not like maybe I'm going to give it 4. I'll give it 4. Maybe I'm being overly enthusiastic. It's 4. It's good, solid, especially this time of year. It just fits. If you haven't seen it, I'd watch it 100%.
I'm going to give it 4 tiny pineapples, and my demerit really is it should be like 3.5 or something. My demerit really is that I just think it's really fucking weird that this one filmmaker who also made Barbarian, you remember that one?
I'm trying to remember.
It was like the basement, and then there was like this creepy old woman that lived in the basement.
God, I don't
that was
remember.
the one about they got an Airbnb and it was checked out by 2 people at the same time, and that the first half of the movie.
Yeah, I didn't
you think
really much like that.
You didn't like that one?
I don't recall.
That movie was kind of a mess, but it was entertaining the whole way through. It had the same he's really skillful at making really great pacing, so the movie's gripping the whole time. So you're in it the whole time. It's like there's never any valleys or anything.
It's very well directed.
But one thing that really irritates me about this guy is that his version of what's scary is always older women. Like, if he wants to do something creepy, it will always be in the form of sagging, wrinkly skin on an older woman, or balding hair on a woman.
You know what that is?
I've noticed
I can tell you what it
and
is. When he was a kid, his mom was like, "Go kiss your grandmother.
Go kiss your grandmother." And it
You
was
go kiss your
the
fucking
creepy
grandmother
skin
right
on
now."
her
And she's
cheek.
got big fucking hairs
Cold.
and her kiss.
Yeah.
And then maybe the grandmother went for the lips.
I'm sure it was.
And he got
but,
sunk right into that accordion of skin.
There's it's just very clear. It's creepy to me that he has this issue with aged women.
Shannon did not like it. She saw it last night.
Other than that, I think he's fine. But I can't stand this whole thing where it'll be like a reveal that's supposed to be really creepy, and I'm like, what? I'm just looking at an old woman. There's nothing creepy about that.
I wonder why. I wonder why I liked it so much. I thought it was great.
I thought it was great too.
But it's kind of controversial. I guess a lot of people really liked it. I wonder what the Rotten Tomatoes is on it. Can you check it out?
I like horror movies with a witchcraft element is always really
Yeah, those
wonderful.
are fun. I mean, look, everything in perspective, by the way. We're talking about horror films here. This isn't fucking Godfather. It's a horror film. I'm not rating it comparing it to something from Scorsese or, Aronofsky. I'm rating it based on it being a horror film.
Yeah.
It's just popcorn and fun.
Yeah, like the big monster in sorry, I'm still not over it.
Zach Kreger.
I don't know what he has a problem with old women for. It's kind of fucked up. Old women aren't scary just by existing, bro.
I mean, they can be,
No way. What the fuck are you talking about?
An old witch.
This is what I'm saying. They're not.
But they did it in Wizard of Oz too.
Yes, I know, but I'm just saying, I don't know, maybe I'm the most woke person in the room or something.
Stop
but I
being
notice,
so woke, will you?
I notice when the scary element is just a type of person, right? Old women aren't supposed to, they can't change that they're old women. So
yeah, but
what
that's
is
not
scary
how he
about that?
exploits that. So that's not a fair.
What do you mean? Of course it is.
No, that's not true. Just watch the movie. I'm not getting into this conversation with you.
But it's
he's
even
being exploitative against old women.
It's even worse in Barbarian. Let me say it. It's even worse in Barbarian, where the big scary thing is literally just an old woman.
Oh, that is so shitty.
It's true.
Yeah, but you just spoil on that. That's ugh. I don't know why you would do that. IMDb 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 93%. Letterboxd 3.7 out of 5.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
So do your thing, but I liked it. I agree with these scores. It's on HBO Max. It's streaming now. It was worth it to me. I'm glad I saw it. If I saw it in the theaters, I would have been just as glad. And there's a lot more to it than just an old woman. But I get your point. But I think it spoils too much of this movie to stay on it. So the next thing that we watched was a movie recommended by, do we know who recommended this one?
Was it Cosmic Urgency?
It might have been Cosmic Urgency.
Oh, it was a few others here too. We're saying that because we like Jennifer's Body, we should watch Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps.
So we watched Ginger Snaps.
Which is basically an all Canadian production, by the way. You know, a horror film in 2001 that completely slipped under the radar for me. But, you know, that was really during like a time in my life where I started to withdraw from movies. I just stopped going to them. I stopped watching them. I was in a fucking mad depression. My life had been completely crushed.
I suspect that this movie wasn't like a big hit. It's kind of a B horror movie.
But I might have caught it, you know, back in the day if I wasn't living in, you know, if I hadn't turtled over movies in general. But anyway, called Ginger Snaps. And let me just, actually, I guess I could start doing this. It says it's a 2000 movie. Anyway, it's directed by John Fawcett, who's a Canadian director. And yeah, I guess there are a couple of sequels or a sequel, Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed. Not sure about that.
There's 3.
Oh, there's 3. That's right. Ginger Snaps Back.
No way.
The beginning. It stars a couple of actors, one called Emily Perkins and another called Catherine Isabel. And look, this movie for me was a lot of fun, man. It's a good horror film. It's a good fucking horror film. I saw nothing wrong with it. You know, I could see why somebody might compare it to, you know, to Jennifer's Body. You know, it's campy as hell, but it knew what it was. It told the line the whole time. It never got off the rails. It didn't like try to be something it wasn't. It didn't try to incorporate a bunch of other stories into it. I just felt like it dealt with itself and what it was, its content really well. Writing was fairly solid throughout. Directing was pretty solid throughout. I thought some of the acting was fucking outstanding, in particular by Catherine Isabel. I would have been really excited about her had I seen her in 2000 as a filmmaker. She's certainly worked a ton and she's had a great career. She's a scream queen. But she might have been underutilized or just relatively undiscovered because really she was supernatural. Not supernatural, but she was natural. She held down the scenes really well. She really offered a lot of great nuance and subtext to her delivery. I just thought she was pretty fantastic. And so I thought that Ginger Snaps was, all in all, a pretty solid outing, even if it was a little on the campier side than I'm typically mostly excited for. So I'm going to give Ginger Snaps, I'm going to give it 3.5 fucking tiny pineapples. I think it was like, again, it's all genre specific. See, I think that you're too hard. But hey, that's just between...
I haven't said anything.
I know, but I just think you are. You're laughing at my score. You're laughing in my face, saying, wow. You know?
Yeah.
Gene never did that to Siskel. No, wait.
Yes, he did. He very much
Gene
did.
Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
Gene never did that to Roger. 3.5 tiny pineapples. It's a fun movie. It's worth the ride. Catherine Isabel's performance is well worth it, even if Emily Perkins is hard to watch. And Emily Perkins is hard to watch. But she didn't matter to me that much because all she was really meant to do was look like things are all wrong. And she did that well throughout the movie. The movie was held down by by Catherine Isabel. And so, you know, congrats to her because that's a fucking hard thing to do for any actor, especially one that's being directed by a guy who's probably, you know, still cutting his teeth in John Fawcett. So 3.5 tiny pineapples for me. Could have been 3, but I'm giving it 3.5 because I really like this girl. I thought she was fantastic. She's 42, by the way, now. And like I said, she's a scream queen, had a bunch of successes. One of her cool little stories is that she's in Freddy versus Jason. Mm-hmm. And she had auditioned for one role, but the director thought she was right for another. And so she took the role, not knowing ahead of the time that he would want nudity out of it, had a non-nudity writer in her contract, but the director tried to get her to be nude anyway, and they ended up apparently in a pretty big argument, I guess, or you know, conflict over it.
Yeah, of course.
That eventually got resolved by body doubles standing in for her. But I really loved her. Like, this is a strong woman. Like, and you can tell in the movie. But it was kind of cool that like there was like, I think that's what I liked about her in this movie was her strength, her centerness. Like I was like, wow, this woman is like in control, and I really dug that. And then, you know, and then I find out that it wasn't like all character, that this woman is like up in your shit. Like, no, man, I'm not your fucking plaything. You're not going to fucking make a spectacle out of me, dude. Right. I loved it anyway. So I just became an instant fan, and yeah, I recommend it.
Cosmic Urgency said, if Angela didn't like it, you already know I recommended it.
That's kind of how it's been.
That's not always true. That's not always
Which
true.
which Cosmic Urgency movie have you liked? Well, get on with your review. Do it.
Ginger Snaps.
Yes.
I gave it 2 tiny pineapples.
I think you should be sanctioned.
I did appreciate how the whole thing was a metaphor for female puberty because it is a horror show.
It was indeed. It's pretty
So
funny.
the whole thing is pretty much very obviously all about what it's like to change when you're a teenager in high school.
Who wrote it? Karen Walton.
Yeah.
So I
So
mean,
very obviously.
Yeah, I
about,
mean, she was
like, where
definitely.
She's like, I'm turning into a monster, and everyone's like shrieking at her monstrosity.
I think that's really clever.
It is. That's
Yeah,
why I'm saying.
It's good female writing.
I think it's clever. I didn't like anything else about the movie. I thought that there was just like so.
It's very thorough.
I just think that I like how it knew what it was. Like it knew it was a B horror movie. Like when you see the filmmaker go from like straight angle to like they'll do a Dutch angle when something horrific happens.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, these guys get it. Like you don't do a Dutch angle
Yeah,
if you're like,
It totally held it down. Like,
you know what I mean?
was
Like
one-
you
it was
know
one-
that you're making like a horror movie.
one of my favorite things about Drag Me to Hell was how it just knew exactly what it was the whole time and it never changed. And so I was just riveted through it.
Was that Sam Raimi?
That was the
Yeah, see,
Dust
he
Till
knows.
Dawn. The
He
Dust
knows
Till
too. He's like very clear about what kind of movie.
not the
he
Dust Till
makes.
Dawn. What was that zombie movie that got remade in like 2000?
Evil Dead?
It wasn't Evil Dead. No, it was the one that takes place in the mall.
Oh, Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Right? Is that what it is?
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, Dawn of the Dead. That remake was
That was
another
the
one that
one-
was just super badass.
That was the one that took place near where I lived when my folks lived in Pennsylvania. My mom used to do. She tried to get work on that.
Yeah,
on that set.
04.
She's a sculptor and she made a bunch of like ghoulish bodies and like dressed us up as zombies for Halloween for like 3 years straight trying to get work on that set. And she ended up visiting and I think I don't know what happened. I don't
Well,
think,
the OG, yeah.
at the one that was shot at the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was near where we lived.
Oh, neat.
So she was like super pumped. She was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna meet Tom Savini and George Romero," and she was so excited about it. Can you stop? You're doing too much. That's too much. Thank you. Yeah, that's my review.
I say take my word for it
About what?
and watch Ginger Snaps if you like horror films. I say disregard Angela's review altogether. No, I don't. I'm kidding. I'm just being mean. I'm honestly not sure why you were so harsh on it. Like I understand. I guess I understand. I mean, your taste is taste, but
Sometimes it's
just a horror film,
Here's the
so-
thing. Okay, so sometimes there's an actor that they rely on to show that things are horrific, right? So they'll look at that. They'll show that actor's face, and the actor will have a horrified look on their face, right? But if I start to notice how many times they rely on that one shot, and I'm seeing the same actor's horrified face like 40 times,
Well-
and I notice it, I'm like, that's kind of
that's too bad that the whole movie is sort of going down the tubes because of one actor. And
No, it's. I mean, I'm just not going to list all the things because what's the point? It's a 2-star. It's
because
a
we're doing a
2-star.
review.
It's a 2 tiny
That's
pineapples.
the point.
Have we been saying stars or tiny pineapples?
You've been saying tiny pineapples. I've been thinking about putting up a poll about whether or not we should bother with tiny pineapples.
Absolutely. No,
I knew I wasn't going to poll
when you're
you
a real
because I
big
knew.
shot, it'll be like a whole brand thing.
Yeah, I know, but like, do I really want to tie everything to my one relatively unsuccessful book?
Yes.
Oh,
It's not just a book. It's your memoir.
I
It's
know.
your life.
I'm very proud of it.
You know.
I think it's relatively speaking a success also, relative to my effort.
Did you get your game on?
No, it's actually still not started. So howdy doody.
Oh, it's a weather delay or whatever.
No, it was starting late. I guess the start time was like all the pregame stuff, you know?
Delicate said you should watch Taylor's documentary before her new one comes out in December.
Oh yeah, what's it called? I should.
I
Yes.
don't think we get it. Isn't it on Disney or something?
Oh, I'm sure we can find it. What's it called? Taylor Swift documentary.
Cosmic Urgency said, I hated the Dawn of the Dead remake. I don't know how they convinced Sarah Polley to do it. It
Yeah,
seems
well-
they just do that a lot, man. They remake movies that were fine. that don't need to be remade. I hope they quit it.
I liked that remake. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fun. I went and saw it in the theater.
Oh, yeah?
And I just had a good time. I just had a really good time. I got all baked. And I thought that there were some really great performances in it. I loved what's his name's line he gets bit and he's laying there and he's gonna transform and he's like, he knows he's got to die first, and he looks up and he's like, and like everything's miserable. I mean, he's in nothing but pain. He's got the bite. He knows it's all over, and then he looks over and he's got this sadness to him and this like, this regret that his life is about to end, and he says, "You just want every breath." And I just was so moved by it. Like, it was like,
he says,
you just want every breath. And he's like about to die. And I was thinking about, I was just in that point in time, I think.
Made you reflect.
Yeah, it was like, it threw me all the way in.
Zombie movies, horror movies are very functional. They
that
allow us to engage in taboo topics about like life and death and grief and loss and all of these things that we would rather not engage in. They allow us to just put our toe in the water. It's a very safe space to engage with these like topics of like morbidity, like mortality, like all of this stuff is just, that's why I love horror movies so much. Like, where else can you just very clearly show the absolute...
by your scores, it doesn't seem like you do love horror films so much, Angela.
I do.
Yeah, okay. I just don't know which ones.
Okay,
The Omen, is that it?
No.
You like those slow burn nail biters?
Sure. Yeah.
No, Cosmic, we're not going to stop doing movie reviews.
I love movie reviews.
I was talking about whether or not we should use tiny pineapples as our scoring method.
Yeah, instead of stupid stars. Everybody
does
not
stars. I didn't say stars. It could be something else. How about cupcakes?
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Strawberry cupcakes.
I like tiny pineapples.
Dale
will always do this, by the way. I have to tell on you. He'll always do this thing where like you come up with a really great idea and we'll have it that's like the working idea that we'll have for like weeks and weeks or months, right? And then all of a sudden one day you'll be like, yeah, so I was thinking about a different idea and like scrapping that one. I'm like, why? But that one
doubt
works.
Myself.
Like there's so many times where you came up to me like 2 years into making your book where you're like, I got a new title for the book. I'm like, why would you? What are you doing that for? And I'm like horrified because I think that you're going to come up with some other idea that you don't. It's called dick milk. As good, huh?
It's called dick milk.
Yeah, right.
Listen, Austin asks, "Have I seen Kids for Cash, or have we seen Kids for Cash?" And we have.
Yes, we have.
Very appalling.
I know. That guy was pardoned recently.
Can you believe
he was pardoned by the Trump administration?
Was he?
Yes.
Well, of course, he's a slave owner.
They were like, that guy, he doesn't deserve consequences.
I'll tell you, man. 2006 was the last time I worked for corporate America. That was it. It was over. I had my, after the big housing crash and the big lie and the big bailouts, and that was it, man. I looked over at my now ex-wife and I said, I'm not going back. I don't care about your little fucking house in the suburbs here. I don't care about anything. I am not going to participate in this sham that is ultimately just my enslavement into this world. And her father lost his shit because of medical. And I was like, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm fucking doing it. I was like, let's move to Canada, man. I'll take care of your medical right now. Oh, you want to stay? Okay, well, you want to stay? I'm not going to work for corporate fucking America anymore. Then we don't have medical insurance because that's the country you live in. You want to come to my country where I'm from, you can get medical, no problem. Go to the doctor, you're sick, whatever. Oh, your wait lines are horrible. It's free. It's fucking free. How long would you wait in line for if you knew you were going to save $1 million?
Yeah.
Or your family's retirement. How long would you wait in line for your families to save your retirement for? Knowing, of course, that nobody in Canada who needs immediate care is denied immediate care. Everybody gets their immediate care. The lineup are for people who can wait. Oh yeah, that does look like it hurts. You're going to have to wait. This
was one of the big radicalizing subjects that made me realize that both parties are complicit in this like continuing like horrible, bleak landscape that we live in, where people go bankrupt because of medical debt. Like, it was like the one party was always doing things to try and, broaden access to healthcare, but they were constantly being hemmed in by the other party needlessly. Mm-hmm. It's the most popular thing you could possibly do is give people healthcare. Everybody wants it. Nobody says that they don't.
We talked about it on the slide before. It's like, it's so obviously basic human right because they give it to prisoners, and you would only be providing prisoners basic human rights.
Only 32 other countries that are like have the same world status as we do have accomplished this goal, but we have not. And it's just like, when you contend with how neither party seems to be really willing to do the hard thing and make that a reality like it is elsewhere. It just, I was like, okay, well,
Three things.
it's a fucking scam.
Three things that the United States government, the richest country on earth, should supply all citizens or make sure all citizens have. They don't necessarily have to supply all citizens with it because some citizens aren't going to need it. They have their own. Every citizen should have shelter. Every citizen should have food. And every citizen should have medical. Those are the three things that every single citizen should have just as a basis. They
Because
should
we're
have a
trying
place
to have
live,
a fucking society
food
here.
to eat, and they should have healthcare when they need it.
What else is the purpose of a society if you're not going to provide things to people?
This government,
Like literally, it's the lowest rung of the, not rung because it's not a ladder, but it's in Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a pyramid, right? And on the very base, the foundation, the widest part, those are the things that you absolutely need before you can feel safe, before you can feel safe and actually participate socially in anything. And it's those basic needs have to be met.
you got to have them.
So it's like, what else is the point of having a society at all? We
This
might as well
government-
just be like living, like feral beasts,
This government spends trillions of dollars on its military. Trillions of $750 billion every time the budget comes around goes to the military complex. And Americans are now going to be starving to death. Americans do not have any health care, and they're losing their health care. Donald Trump, before this term is done, will almost certainly raise your Social Security to 60 to 70
Are you trying to end on this note?
to 75. So on that note,
we're back on.
on that note, I think what you should do is you want to talk about, let's talk about something really completely fluffy and beautiful. Yeah, we should do that.
Fluffy.
Yeah, let's talk about some fluff.
We don't talk about
The
fluff.
Supreme Court will consider whether or not people who regularly smoke pot can own guns. Do you know that's happening?
Oh yeah, man. Okay,
Second Amendment is a conditional thing
this
now.
is like a whole other thing. I know.
You got Second Amendment for some, but not for others. All right, listen. Fuck politics. But
If
listen,
you want to bring that one up tomorrow, though, I do have a lot to say about it. I just don't feel like we should get into it now.
I've had it in my coffers for
Your
7
coffers.
days. You don't like that?
No, I love it. I just didn't know that you had coffers to begin with.
Listen, man, I play video games, bro. We have coffers in video games.
Your loot stash.
Happy Monday to you guys all. I hope you're all having the beginning. I hope the beginning of your week has been spectacular. And
Here's one thing about this week, right? Because everything seems horrible, although news is bad. Here's one thing about the astrology of this week right now, especially. More and more, we need to start noticing how people are helping each other. The astrology is doing this too.
Yeah.
That there's Jupiter in Cancer, which is the sign of like mothering, sort of like the archetypal activity of like helping people feel nurtured and comforted and cared for and make them feel more secure and safe. This is what everybody is called to do right now, like universally, all over the world.
Yep.
So this is like, if you can just lean into that, you're going to be bringing greater gifts of understanding and insight and support into your life. Everything's fucking weird and terrible, but if we could just find ways to help each other, everything's going to work out. That's how we're supposed to manage
I love
this
it.
week.
This is exactly true. This is what we have to do, and that's the part. That's the best way to defeat all of this is to show that we have a unity in our humanity, a unity in our love and respect for each other, in our wanting for our own safety and for our own well-being.
All of this nonsense is just an initiation for us to connect with each other.
Hey, listen, man, Bryce Mitchell,
Bryce Mitchell of
who
the UFC.
who is definitely a very intellectually challenged UFC fighter, and I don't believe that he's challenged just because he's had his nut rattled. I think that the guy's just like, just didn't get the education or whatever it was. He is not a really smart guy, and you can tell when I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but he was an avid Trump supporter and
Very
he is
vocal.
like vocal Trump supporter. Like, and I actually liked him as a fighter. He was a fun fighter to watch. We don't watch the UFC anymore because of their involvement in politics. But anyway, Bryce Mitchell, he comes out, I guess it's the other day, and he's like, I'm not supporting him anymore. I'm not supporting Donald Trump anymore.
He broke up with Donald Trump.
He broke up with him, and he broke up with him.
He was like his biggest fan.
emphatically. Like, and I'm telling you, this guy was so huge. Like, he was one of those QAnon almost level, like far right, crazy Trump guy, ready to get the tattoo.
And what did it?
Epstein files.
Yep.
Epstein files. Epstein files. You said you were going to release the Epstein files. You didn't, and you're doing everything, including shutting down the government to prevent it from happening. You're a pedophile.
This is a grenade that they cannot put the pin back in. There's nothing's going to change.
Not until
this.
them files come out, and they're going to keep the government shut down to not take duly elected. You know that Arizona's suing the federal government,
right?
You know, I mean, they're keeping a representative out right now. You know, Arizona is unrepresented currently. I mean, we all are, right? They shut down the government, so we all are.
We're gonna see what happens.
All right, you know what? Angela's right though. We just got to support each other. We got to love each other. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do on this live, even if you're a fucking Baldoni supporter.
That's right.
I'm gonna try to like shake you straight without giving you the syndrome. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. I hope you like our reviews, even if we emphatically disagree with each other, which we do on this occasion. Well, no, that's not true. We both liked weapons. So we have that. We'll put that on our anniversary cake, maybe. You're amazing. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Good night, good night.
Good night.
Good night, Angela.